Hi, Present Day Mac from M&K Productions Podcast here. So, just getting this little disclaimer out the way before we start the show. We recorded during the week of the 21st. This is all before the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer came out and the reports that Venom would be being pushed back to January 2022. So, we apologize for not being able to cover that on this week's episode, but we definitely cover those in the next episode. So, just want to give that little disclaimer out the way. So, enjoy the show, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Yo, I hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. Come a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another bowl. Let's go.
Guess who's back? Back again. We are back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yeah, you get it. Hey, everyone, I'm your host, Mac. Join here.
Sorry, now it was my turn to be a little obnoxious.
Hey, everyone, welcome back to the long overdue return of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac. Joined here for like the first time in a while, Christian, aka Miss Flamingo. Christian.
Did you say Mac Movie Reviews Podcast?
I said M&K Productions Podcast.
I got really lost. I was like, wait, I'm here for the show.
It's been a minute. So I've been joined here by my trustworthy, loyal co-host, Christian, aka Miss Flamingo. How are you doing? We haven't been on here in like a while.
It's been a minute, honestly, but we are back better than ever. I think one thing we needed was a much-needed break.
Yes, one person had to go to vacation and then recharge his batteries, but I'm all set. I'm ready to go.
I had some personal stuff going on, and I think we all both needed a creative break for a minute, and We're back. We're going to be consistent. Don't worry. We're going to be bringing you brand new episodes. We're going to talk about that, what we have upcoming for you guys. We're going to do all the basic stuff that you guys missed from us, which is like, the news and giving you our thoughts on reviews and new movies and all that fun stuff.
Yep, and the last podcast we posted was on July 15th, 2021, and that was In the Heights with Elliot, the movie talk.
Yeah, that one took a while for us to put together, but like I said, we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed whatever episodes we had out. If you're a new listener, thank you for listening, and welcome to our show. We're going to bring you all sorts of good goodies today. So
yes, we are. We got
lots of fun conversation.
Yes. We got a good little return show today. Just something simple and sweet. So we're going to start off with the news, any film news that we have kind of missed to cover for the past month or even recently. Then we're going to be talking about James Gunn's brand new Suicide Squad and all the bundles of joy that came with that film. And then instead of questions or box office earnings for the week, we're going to let you know, give you the upcoming, we call the M&K upfront of what's coming on the podcast in the coming weeks and the channel and our pages overall. So with all that said and done, I think we should get into the news. Don't you agree, Kristen?
Oh, yes. It's time to talk about some news.
In the words of Keemstar, let's get right to the news.
This is CNN.
All right, so the news for this episode, I'm going to start off first with a juicy news story out of the Warner Brothers camp in DC. Actor Ray Fisher, known for playing Cyborg in the Batman v Superman, the Justice League Joss Whedon cut, and the Zack Snyder cut, he has said on record that he will not play Cyborg again until Warner Brothers apologizes for the actions of Joss Whedon's abusive behavior on set of the 2017 Justice League movie. Ray Fisher says he wants I'm sucking right now. Okay. He wants the president of Warner Brothers, Walter Hamada, to apologize. And because did you know that they did an investigation earlier this year, and Ray Fisher was a big component of how saying Joss Whedon was kind of an asshole on set and everything. It's just all these Joss Whedon stories piling up, how he threatened to ruin Gal Gadot's career, and how he wanted to make the movie his own and just cut Zack Snyder off. So it's just a big whole mess. And now Ray Fisher says he will not play Cyborg until he gets an apology for the 2017 actions of director Joss Whedon's Suicide Squad.
I think an apology would be nice. I think more than an apology should be given to him. I think some compensation of money. I think Ray Fisher has now career is so been effectively different now. I don't even know if I said that right in the correct terms, but it's just amazing because I really haven't seen him in anything, and who knows, I guess at this point, Josh Whedon really could have really tarnished his career with everything, how he acted, with how Josh was on set, and it's not good. It was an high abuse of power, and people should have gotten involved. And now that we're living in a time where people are some people are taking accountable for their actions and owning up to mistakes, and times are changing, and I think an apology needs to be said to Ray Fisher.
So do you think the question now becomes that will they, because recently we've had like a lot of actors going against studios, because you got the whole Scarlett Johansson situation,
right?
And now there's rumors she's going to DC. You got the whole Emma Watson, how she was, Emma Stone.
No, Emma Stone, and now she's going to be in Cruella too.
Yeah, so I guess they got that resolved, and then you had Gerard Butler suing the producers of Olympus Has Fallen over royalties. So it's just this snowball effect into different aspects of Hollywood that these actors are beginning to like say, hey, I'm putting my foot down. I'm not doing this anymore until I want like some respect. So do you think that they might just apologize to him, or just say, okay, well, your character's dead now and we're going to recast you. Good luck in Hollywood. We're going to blackball you.
No, they won't recast him. I don't think that's the idea of it. If I were a casting involved in this casting person, or any producer or whoever involved with that situation, I would say no. This kid deserves more than a second chance. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just, like I said, the power of abuse in that situation, and a long due apology should be said to him. It's just disappointing how everything with Warner Brothers is treating this poor kid, and things need to change. Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, how do you feel, Mac?
Warner Brothers has just been in complete disarray ever since 2016 with Batman v Superman and everything behind the scenes, because you got the whole Snyder cut that was for like the last 4 years. We finally got it. Now you got the new Suicide Squad movie, which we'll talk about, with the whole Ayer cut, and now they want to release. People want it. It's just the DC extended universe, like fan base, and even behind the scenes and in front of the camera, it seems to be like different multiverses all converging together, and we don't know. Like, it's just a lot of, I don't want to say like dickishness, but more like kind of like mishandling a lot of assets that. It's just a messy situation, and I hope they give this.
It's a very messy situation.
I think he's a great live action cyborg. Like, he does a good job. Him and Carrie Payton, who's the voice of Cyborg in the Teen Titans show, I think they're like my two definitive like cyborgs. So I hope he gets an apology, or just they really should just apologize, because now it's the whole restore the Snyderverse. So it's like Warner Brothers is kind of seen as like public.
Not so much restoring the Snyderverse, because the Snyderverse is basically done at this point. I think at this point, for my maybe I'm too set on saying this early now until we talk about Suicide Squad, but I think they're set on creating a James Gunn universe for him.
I'd be down for that more than Zack Snyder. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, but we'll talk more about that later, I guess. But
So, what's your news?
I was gonna add on to the last thing that was said, but which was the Scarlett Johansson thing, because as soon as like the end of the month of July happened, that's like, because we were gonna record again for us, but once July hit, that's when the news of Scarlett Johansson broke out. And this thing is going to really change the concept of the industry, how actors are going to be treated and get the respect and even more money than, some deserve. Mm-hmm. So that's besides signing on a project and, taking on the leading role, So it's going to be an interesting time in Hollywood now. And it's very, very exciting, and not exciting. I don't know if exciting is the best word.
It's intriguing.
That's the right word. But the next story I have is because of the Delta variant.
Oh, yeah.
You could probably tell where we're going with this. The long-anticipated Andy Serkis direction. Oh my gosh, I almost said directorial.
Venom,
director. Venom 2
Let there be
has
carnage.
been delayed to October 15th. So it moved from September 24th to mid-October. And that's because the rising numbers and the Delta variant, ongoing coronavirus pandemic, we're still in the months of a pandemic. So how do you feel about the ongoing Sony change-up? Because this also affected Hotel Transylvania 4, which will now be on
They're
Amazon.
streaming, yeah.
So
You know,
how do you feel about this?
For the Hotel Transylvania 4 decision, I think that works because at this point I don't care about those movies. I like the first
I do.
two. I like the first. I like the first two, but the third one I didn't care about, and like I don't know. I think it'll do better streaming. But with Venom 2 being pushed back, it's kind of like, man, you completely forgot that they're even making it because you forgot about Morbius too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
like,
really bummed because I really, really want to see this film in a theater, and I was excited this was going to be something like kind of dark for the Venom universe.
Maybe, hopefully.
I think so, but I was really hoping for the best for this one because I love Andy Serkis. He's an excellent actor, and I
Underrated
think
as hell.
Very much so. And this was his time to shine with a superhero, supervillain-like film. And unfortunately, this variant is taking over. And it's sad because I really wanted to see this in a theater. I hope they don't. Hopefully, this variant doesn't take any more lives or doesn't cause any more extreme controversies with, closing things down and stuff like that. I'm trying to word this where, I may not kick myself in the butt, but how was I going to say? Sorry, I'm not doing great today, guys. I feel like it, but I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed how everything is now getting pushed back again because there are many projects now that are being reconsidered to being released in 2022. And it just makes me think that what other projects are going to get pushed back again? Like, is this going to include June? Is this going to include the Internals? Is this going to include House of Gucci? There is a lot of stuff up in the air, and now people are starting to do a lot of in-person events. So hopefully, everybody just get vaccinated at this point because we can't afford to lose any more lives at this point with this variant. It's not good. So.
Yeah, and speaking with the person. Freaking New York Comic Con said that they will require everyone to be masked and show vaccination process. So we could be going to that too. So maybe, cause I know some movie theaters, they are going to require, not here in Massachusetts where I am, but there's other parts of the country where they are requiring vaccination cards and masking. Some movie theaters and other places I've got told by friends they're requiring your mask again.
Oh, 100%. I think that's necessary to do at this point. In New York, which isn't too far from me. For guys who don't know, I'm a Jersey girl, but I'm not too far from the Big Apple City. And now they're requiring many people attending restaurants and wherever you want to go to show a vaccination card. And I think that's the best way to do it at this point. I think more states should do that. Because that way, if you really want to keep a healthy environment, show your proof.
Yeah, don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it.
Don't get it.
No, I mean, wait. I'm trying to think. Oh,
don't get one of those fake
Don't
IDs.
forge it. Yeah, don't forge it. Thank you.
Yeah, you actually get it. There's a chance you can always get like a duplicate vaccine card, get another one, showing you proof you have one on you, and then keep one at home to say, hey, I did get the vaccine. And don't get one dose, get both doses if you can. And if you need the booster, go get it. This is not going to change ongoing, guys. This is going to be here for quite a while, so we're going to have to stick it out. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to me because I'm actually going to the Jonas Brothers concert, the one that's all outdoors, and I'm pretty sure soon they're going to have to say, if you want to go to the concert, show your ID that you've been cleared. And keeping my hopes up that nothing else gets canceled because I am one of those nice vaccinated people and I really want to see the Jonas Brothers. This is a life goal, that's why.
Loser.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. I wanted to talk about my life goal and dream and childhood dream for a hot second. All right. What's next on your end?
All right, so next news. Actually, this is from Adam Dent's 22 hours ago. So, are you aware? Are you a I Love Lucy fan, Kristen?
I actually am. As soon as I got into college, I became a little bit more of an I Love Lucy fan. I didn't really like it so much when I was a kid and everything. I actually own an I Love Lucy shirt, and it's her of stopping the grapes. It's really cool. I'll have to wear it one day. Maybe I'll post a photo of it on my Instagram one day. But
I bought my mom the complete series on DVD from Big Lots for Mother's Day.
Oh, that's cute.
So, are you aware that Aaron Sorkin will be making a I Love Lucy movie with what's his name?
Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I was very much aware of that, and I saw some set photos, and I just think they're okay.
So, Lucille Ball's daughter, Luis Arnaz, she says that there have been scenes in the Ricardos that are inaccurate.
I can bet that. I think they're willing to tell a controversial story for that. And, sometimes with a biopic, you can either go with the nice route and give, the respect and homage to the talent that's no longer with us, or you get to the dark side that showed, the dark truths to an actor where they might have went through some issues or maybe went through a divorce or some drinking issues. It's like, there's like up in the air, you can be like telling an accurate story. And I feel like once we see the biopic, and I guess us knowing the history maybe of I Love Lucy and, Lucille Ball in general, I think that's going to be up to the public to decide, how truth it is. They believe in themselves. But if, the daughter, or did you say granddaughter or daughter?
Daughter,
thank you. I think, for her to say, it's inaccurate, I mean, is she giving her 2 cents or executive producer?
She did. She's not an executive producer. She just visited set just to see like what they were doing. And she did make a statement. She said, I mean, there are certain scenes that I wish hadn't been in the feature film. I thought I couldn't get my way and have them taken out, but they weren't accurate. I thought that shouldn't be in there because that never happened. That's not true. It is not just theatrical license. It just wasn't true.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if they presented her the script at first hand and said, oh, did this happen? I feel like there should have been more research done if that's the case, and talking to the people who really knew Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz themselves. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's interesting though. So I wonder how it's all going to be up for judgment once the movie comes out. So I wonder what scene that she's
scenes.
Thank you. She's referring to as.
She'll probably go on a talk. She'll probably go on a talk show and talk about it.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see her on the Today Show, and she's going to be calling this scene out, saying, "Oh, this fight or this event, this fight, this thing, this scenario didn't happen," and I know my parents, she's going to be defending her parents like anyone would be. I mean, if I would be acting the same way. I feel like if I was in her shoes, especially if something is really drawn out of line or, really that could almost seem distasteful, I would be upset. So, I mean, how would you feel if you're,
if my life was made into a movie and there was, because I think about this, remember the Tupac movie they made 4 years ago, All Eyes on You?
Yes.
That movie
came out.
That movie is a train wreck because they did not. All they got right about Tupac's life was just what you would see the Wikipedia footnotes, the highlights. It's oh, he was in death row. He did the tours and everything. Was okay, cool. But his family was so against that movie, even his mom. And then his mom died.
Yes,
then they released it. So I was dang, some of these biopic movies or biopic pieces, it's hard sometimes to get it right because you need to have that consultant. Even when they made 42 about Jackie Robinson, which I love very much because he's one of my heroes, they had Jackie Robinson's wife. She was a consultant because she can be like, that's right, that's wrong. Like, she can do all that. Like, I thought that was very good. That was very good. But it's just like, if you're not consulting people who are actually like remember them or knew them well, you can't just take creative licenses like that, because it just seems kind of like we need to make it a Hollywood drama. It's like, no, make it grounded, make it realistic, have some actual historical truth to it. If you want, and then if you want to like, skirmish the truth for your own benefit, go ahead, but at least try to keep it consistent.
Yeah, you could say that nowadays. I mean, for my birthday, I got to see the Aretha Franklin biopic. And
how was that?
I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, it's not a groundbreaking biopic that I've seen. I think the best biopic I've seen in recent years is the Elton John Rocket Man, which is fantastic and phenomenal. And also the Steve Jobs film that came out with Michael Fassbender is excellent. Good. It's one of my favorites.
I thought you were talking about the Ashton Kutcher one.
No, not that one. But I think with this one, the Aretha Franklin one, she was attached to the project. She casted Jennifer Hudson herself to play her. I mean, what an honor that is. But I think that was a really innocently sweet documentary. I looked at the dark side to Aretha Franklin, but it also showed her high hopes of like how, not high hopes, but how she paved the way for music and how she was treated, and just really took a good look at her life. And I thought it was a very nice biopic. It's not, like I said, it's not groundbreaking as, like I said, Steve Jobs or Rocket Man, but it was like in the, it was in a very good range. I feel like some critics are taking a little too harsh on it, but I thought it was pretty good.
My mom wants to see it, so I'll let her know what you said.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. The music is excellent, though, in the film, and Jennifer Hudson does an excellent job. I think we're going to see her probably around this award season. It's much better than the Billie Holiday story, I will tell you that. It's 10 times better. Lee Daniels, who...
love you, but this ain't it.
No, that was not it. I still can't get over that, what's her name?
I don't even know.
Oh, no!
So before we go into this Pandora's box even more, you want to go into your news story? Because I got one more after this.
Oh, maybe I will do another one after that myself, because I'm torn between two stories I kind of want to talk about. Okay, but you can pick the first one we can talk about. Would you like to talk about Kristen Stewart or Bryan Cranston?
Oh, I don't know about this one, so both.
But which one?
Kristen Stewart. Oh, okay. Is it the pictures of her as Princess Diana?
Well, not that, because those pictures came out about a year ago. But the actual release date of the Princess Diana movie has been set.
When is it?
Expect to see the film to come out. I just had it in my notes. Where did my notes go? Set to release date. Hold on, folks. Oh, there he goes. Pablo Larraín's biopic drama Spencer, starring Kristen Stewart, is expected to hit theaters this November.
Oh.
From Neon and Topic Studios, and it's expected to premiere in the competition at the Toronto and Venice Film Festivals. So.
Oh yeah, that's going for award season.
Oh, definitely. You know that. Pablo Larraín is trying for an Oscar, because he directed Jackie, that was one of his most recent films that he got to take on, and I think this is another interesting film for him to take on. I'm excited to see what Kristen Stewart is going to do, but I don't think she's the greatest actress on earth.
No.
To come out of the Twilight franchise, I think Robert Pattinson hands down is. Molly agrees. Molly, I know, was missed on the podcast. I feel like she missed giving her 2 cents. So, but going back to this, I'm excited to see what it is. I think it's going to be a very controversial movie. I'm really curious to see how the sons, Prince Harry and William, or whoever, if the prince or not still. I don't even know who's in the castle anymore. I'm curious to see how their thoughts are going to be about this movie. So, are you going to be seeing this movie, Mick?
No, I will not.
Why?
I don't really care about Kristen Stewart at all, and I don't know. The royal family bores me.
Yeah, I just feel like you sound like my dad. I just feel like he kind of says, who cares? Who cares about them? I really don't care about them either. I think there's just excitement because, there's just like, we all dream of princesses and kings and having tea and, this high-class Bridgerton society like imagination. So that's why they're always being followed and have there's this fantasy element to it. But for this movie, it's really going to take a dark look, I think, at Diana herself, because the movie was expected to debut in 2022 because it would mark the 25th anniversary of her death. But here's the actual date. This is what I was looking for. The date for the movie is going to hit November 5th.
Okay, so
and that's the same time
as the
Eternals is going to be released, as well as Tom Hanks' sci-fi pick Finch.
So we all know what's going to win that weekend is going to be the Eternals, because that's Marvel, and it's going to absolutely destroy.
You don't think Spencer's going to be number one?
It's Marvel.
I'm kidding. We all know Eternals is going to be number one. We all know that. But this is for the specialty box office. This will probably open like in New York and LA first, like in all those, little markets that, that want to get that, going, where they're like, the theaters will then have to go out and be like, oh, we need that for our theater. So, it'll probably get more markets, but like I said, I'm surprised that they aren't having it at the New York Film Festival. I'm not sure if that's going to be at this film will be at the New York Film Festival. But
I think maybe it will be.
That's
because if it's going for awards season, it's going to they're going to try to put this as many places.
Yeah. As many awards places as it can, so
yeah, so the critics can talk about it and people
salivate over it like me and you.
Yeah, they're like ugh.
But have you watched Pablo Larraín's series on Apple?
I do not have Apple TV.
Story.
We talked about this.
Oh yeah, I know, but I was hoping you would get it because Apple TV is killing it. I've been watching a lot of Apple TV.
No, not yet.
But his last project, with Apple, I didn't think it was that good.
What was it?
I'm not even I'm really, disappointed how it's turning out. Well, turned out, I should say. But it was, like I said, Lee's story, and it's like a romance psychological horror show with Dane DeHaan and Julianne Moore and Clive Owen and Joanne Allen. It's and it was executive produced by J.J. Abrams. It's all this story stuff, and it was a mini series. But yeah, it wasn't that good. It's such a slow burn of a show. You really have to sit down and watch it. It's not like a series you can just turn on your TV and be okay, I'm gonna enjoy this a Ted Lasso or a Friends or Lost or a normal show. I feel this is I feel the Sopranos style show where you have to pay close attention. I mean, some of the really stuff that's on the show is kind of extreme with detail and stuff. It's pretty interesting to see it all come together though, but the story overall is a drag to watch. And you can see the score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I 100% agree with at this point. It's just this series, what? Who? Get it? So I think it's one of Apple's weaker projects going back to that, but Pablo Larraín. But I'm excited to see this. I'll check it out.
Maybe I'll see it when it comes to streaming. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see that. But my last news topic I got is that you've been following any Neil Blomkamp news, mate?
Yeah, his new movie's coming out.
Yeah, well, besides that, he has been, he said, this is not the news, but he said he's working on District 10 after, God knows, 12, it's been 12 years since the original District 9 came out, and people were when the hell is the sequel coming? So, recently, he did an interview, and he said that he was shocked that people didn't like Chappie.
This Friday, from the director of District 9, there is one name.
I am Chappie.
that has everyone talking.
Chappie, do something!
Chappie.
His 2015 sci-fi film based with a
I didn't
robot.
like Chappie.
I like Chappie.
Yeah,
Chappie
we did that live stream with our friend, aka Flickstock David. What's up, David?
Yeah, it was David.
We did that, and I just thought it was like, ugh. Chappie's annoying, and the more I think about it every day, I feel like if Chappie comes across my head, I'm like, get out of my head, Chappie. He's just the obnoxious.
I liked it. It felt like a new age RoboCop, and it's interesting too because before Chappie came out, he was in line to do a RoboCop remake, and I was curious to see like if he was using Chappie as a basis to see like, okay, maybe this is what I'll do for my RoboCop movie, and Chappie didn't flop in the theaters, but it's becoming a cult following though, so I'm happy with that. Chappie's actually,
it definitely has. I could definitely, like I said, like I feel like even now over time too, like I see why it's more beloved by audiences now. But
yeah, he said according to when he spoke to Uproxx, he said that he wasn't stung by the critical reaction, but was rather not into the audience not liking it, and that their rejection of it was more problematic. And this is his quote: "Well, I think any conversation about it is just always cloaked in negativity somehow. And I think people have a point of view of a film and it just locks in place, and that's the way that it is. So most of my interactions to do with it are quite marginally negative. I would say I think it was a case of misunderstanding the tone or me not presenting the tone correctly and then rejecting it. But it's all good. I mean, it's like you have to experiment."
Okay, as long as he learned, and I feel like he's like being like most, I feel like directors, he's taking that criticism really, I guess, to heart. I understand him being bummed by it because I feel like if that would be any director, working on a beloved project that, you work hard on. I say all the time, it's a challenge to make a film. And I understand all the hard work and process that goes into it. That's why I went into going into studying film and stuff, because I love that art. But I understand. I love the fact he's taking the criticisms and he's applying whatever he can seriously to his next project. So I appreciate he can accept criticism than like how most directors, because I feel like most directors would be like, oh, no, most people understand what I'm talking about. My Chappie is a piece of work of art.
David Ayer.
So, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Like I said, I like Chappie, and I will say that after Chappie, kind of just like all of his projects that he was going to do kind of fell off because of that and Elysium. Like they weren't bad movies, it's just very underwhelming, and especially that people are like, is he going to be the next Spielberg?
No.
He lost he was going to do an Aliens movie, but that fell through. Then he was going to do the RoboCop movie, then that fell through. And now he's coming out with a new movie, which looks interesting, but I don't know.
He's not
like it? Maybe I'll see it on streaming. I don't know if I think it's a streaming movie. I don't know if it's in theaters yet, but
it's gonna be playing in some theaters. It's playing at the drive-in.
Drive-in.
Sorry, can't even talk for a second.
I'll see it in streaming.
Yeah, I feel like I might see it at streaming. I felt like it might do better on a streaming service platform, but I understand wanting him to put it in because it's from what I thought I remember, I saw the trailer once, but it's like another found footage movie. It's going back to his old school roots, right?
Yeah, it looks like, well, I wouldn't say found footage. It was more like a documentarian style, like District 9.
Yeah. So it's going slightly back to, like I said, his, old roots and style and taking back to his new story. So I haven't really even looked at, like, thoughts into it, but I know it's playing and going to be released this weekend. So good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck, Neil Blomkamp. We're rooting for you. Remember, you do it. It's fine. I think he's a fine director. He just needed to take a step back, like Josh Trank. But so you got one more news story?
Yes. But I wanted to say shout out to Anthony Mackie. I'm excited for Captain America 4. But anyways, we're going to talk about this news story because it seems relevant to now because now Bryan Cranston, Jeffrey Wright, Hope Davis, and Liv Schreiber have been added to the new Wes Anderson film.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. There is no title announced yet for the film, but this movie's got a lineup of cast. This movie is filming in Spain and has already the likes of Adrian Brody, Bill Murray, Station Schwartzman, Tilda Swinton, Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, Scarlett Johansson, and Rupert Friend. Friend.
You know, Wes Anderson loves to get as many people as he can.
Oh, yeah. It's like now at this point with the French Dispatch, everybody like me is excited to see that. I'm really excited for that French Dispatch. It's going to be awesome, I think.
Is it just me whenever I hear that title, I'm thinking of the French Connection? Like, I'm thinking it's a heist movie.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a heist movie too, but then I realized it was about journalism. I was like, oh, okay. Just not what I thought, because I thought of the same thing too, and I feel like a lot of people thought the same thing too.
But yeah, this sounds exciting. I like Adrian Brody. I know he doesn't get a lot of love, but I think he's a good actor, and he got a lot of talent in there, so it could be good. No matter, maybe when we find out the title, people will do their decoding of like, what will it be about, and they look at the poster like, what does this mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what else there was about, but the voice cast was announced. I am down for it. I think for any movie for like Wes Anderson to get a staple of a cast, I think that's typical in Wes Anderson style, because he's got all those connections, and
yes, he does.
It's a no-brainer for any actor to star in a Wes Anderson film, and these are all of his friends that he's made over the years. I mean, look at Bryan Cranston and Bill Murray. I mean, Bill Murray has been attached to Wes Anderson for years. It's like the Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio connection, at this point, And then, like I said, Bryan Cranston, he was in Island of the Dogs, and that movie Isle of Dogs, excuse me. That movie's really, really cute too, and that movie does not get enough credit. I love that
movie. I like that. I like stop motion. Except for Box Trolls. Box Trolls suck, but
I like that. I like Isle of Dogs more than the Fantastic Mr. Fox. You guys can come back. Yeah, I'm putting the hammer down on that one.
Okay, I can see that. I like both of them. I think I
do like both, but if I had to watch one or the other, it's Isle of Dogs for me. Well, but Jason Schwartzman too also attached that too, and I think this is Margot Robbie's first movie with Mr. Anderson too, because she's never been a part of that too.
No.
So it looks like a great, good old cast to have, and I'm excited to see what's going to come from that. But
gotta keep our eyes on that one.
Yeah, and that one and the French Dispatch. I think we're going to be seeing a lot. I think that movie's going to come out regardless with the Delta variant or not too. So I don't think they pushed that movie back enough. So I think they're going to be like, all right, here it is.
Well, that's going to do it for the news today. If you have any news for us, you can send it on our Instagram page at M&K Productions Podcast. On Instagram, you can link us some news, and we'll give you a credit and shout out with that. But with all that said and done, I think it's time we talk about the latest DCEU film, The Suicide Squad 2021, because I don't want anyone to confuse it with 2016. Let's get into it.
He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU.
In theaters August 6th, rated R.
Okay, so the topic or the film of discussion for today's episode is James Gunn's Suicide Squad, which was just recently released as of this recording about 2 weeks ago on HBO Max and in theaters at the same day premiere, that simultaneous thing. And like I mentioned, this is the new DC Extended Universe film. It's directed by James Gunn and written by Gunn, and it has an all-star cast, which I'm not going to name all of them, but the main standouts are John Cena, Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, Joel Kim, and Viola Davis, and Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. And this is the plot of the film is a task force of convicts known as the Suicide Squad are sent to the island of Corto Maltese to destroy evidence of the giant alien starfish Starro the Conqueror. And we're not going to spoil it because this movie's still relatively new. And by the time this episode comes out, it's still going to be on HBO Max. So we recommend you go see this film
either in theaters or HBO Max.
Yeah. But before we talk about the movie a bit more, let's talk about the background. So 2016, we had the Suicide Squad movie with David Ayer, directed by David Ayer. And it was like this, it was hyped up to be like, this is going to be DC's answer to Guardians of the Galaxy. And the trailers, marketing was on point. The movie came out. It was a disaster. The critics hated it. Audience hated it. But some critics liked it. Some audience liked it. And it was just a mess.
And one of the good things that we got out of it, well, I don't know how good it is. I think she approves from the performance of it, but as Margot Robbie, and that's where
Oh,
it all
yeah.
sends from there.
Yeah, and then now there were stories of meddling from Warner Brothers, not letting David Ayer get his movie. Then 5 years later, it's with the Ayer cut, released the 2016 Ayer cut with his version of Suicide Squad. So then he was going to do a sequel for Suicide Squad, but he dropped out of the project. So then DC said, okay, let's try something different. In comes James Gunn, when at the time he was fired from Marvel for old tweets that were deemed offensive, and DC picked him up to do a new Suicide Squad movie, and he said, okay. So then when news broke that he was coming back, Marvel hired him back. So technically speaking, we're crossing borders here, where a Marvel director went to DC, made a movie, and is going back to Marvel to do another Marvel movie, which is just insane to me. And another thing about this movie is that we really have our own new cast, because a lot of the members from the first Suicide Squad movie are not gone. El Diablo gone, Enchantress gone.
Thank God Enchantress gone.
Deadshot gone. Killer Croc gone. All that. The people that came back are Viola Davis, Margot Robbie, and Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang. We have a brand new ensemble cast.
Joel Kinnaman.
Oh, Joel Kinnaman. I'm sorry. Yeah, Joel Kinnaman. So yeah, this is that was the history of the Suicide Squad movie, and it came out, and it is a awesome movie. It is so much better than the 2016 one. Although
this is what David Ayer wanted to make, and
yeah, if he made this movie, then we would have not been in the situation we were.
No, knowing that we had a PG version of Suicide Squad, I think was way too safe for everything to come out, because this movie is for the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, it's a bloody, bloody good time.
Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. Even the animated movies have done it better than this one is just fantastic. And can you believe that some people say that this one isn't as good as the 2016 one? I've heard multiple people say this.
Not under my radar. I'm surprised.
I was like, he must have really liked that. And I'm not saying that like the 2016 one is like the worst DC film. No,
it's not.
I will die by the hill that Birds of Prey is the worst one. Like, it's the worst, especially when compared to Rated R. It's the worst Rated R DC movie. But the 2016 Suicide Squad is enjoyable. I like some of the elements.
I think it's become a meme of it because of just Jared Leto being Jared Leto as the Joker, hot topic Jared Leto.
Damage. But this one is really, really like fun. It's a fun movie, and you can tell that James Gunn took the style that made it work in Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy, and he took it and he did it with this Suicide Squad, and it's just amazing.
Do you know what the pitch meeting was? They were like, they just showed James Gunn a picture of Guardians of the Galaxy and pointed, "We want that. Just make that, please." That's all. And James Gunn went, "Okay, that's it.
But yeah,
fine, money."
What did you think of Suicide Squad? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or did you think it was okay?
Oh, I really liked it a lot. I think it's one of the top movies of the year so far. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of fun to it. I enjoyed the surprises. I think this is the movie that I saw that really surprised me, especially the beginning of the film. I think 20 minutes of the film really, really took me to a different level for the DC universe and what to come from the film itself. Yeah, this movie takes no savages. Let me just tell you, nobody is safe from this movie. Nobody is safe.
You mentioned the first 20 minutes, and I will say the first 20 minutes of the film, we're not going to spoil anything. It really sets the tone of what we're dealing with in the movie.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it just showed what the potential elements DC can bring to the universe, and especially this idea if James Gunn has this idea for the DC universe, because there's potential for projects for him that he's like signed on and has discussed with DC in the future. So I think this is going to open a lot of doors for him, especially. So I'm excited to see what's going to come from it. Mm-hmm. And I love all the villains that are casted in this movie, and one of them I think really improves from her performance is Margot Robbie's as Harley Quinn. I think now she has really, really stepped into this character and really took it up from a notch from being, how she was in, Birds of Prey, and just elevates her performance even more. And I just loved her in this film.
You can tell she definitely got better between her first performance and this one, because maybe I'd say too it's better writing with her character, and she was able to, because one of the biggest things with this one is that Warner Brothers did not meddle as much as they did in the 2016 one. This is James Gunn's movie. This is not Warner Brothers movie. This is James Gunn. So he's able to do virtually anything he wants. Like, there were some things that Warner said no, but he said, I'm doing it anyway. So this is his movie. So everything that like was on screen is his idea, and I loved it. And especially with Margot Robbie, I felt like she had more room to flesh out her character, because the 2016 one, she was just like, oh, she's just a Joker's girlfriend. And I think they wanted to do that with Birds of Prey, but that was a disaster. But this one is a very good like redemption for her.
Oh, definitely, so much so. And I think even the fact that we have a new cast, especially knowing the fact that, you know, Will Smith wasn't going to come back as Deadshot, because that was set, you know, for him to come back when we last saw Suicide Squad, and they replaced him as Idris Elba. I think that was even 10 times better. I loved Idris Elba in this movie.
Different character, not the same, because they didn't want to recast Will Smith, so they put Idris Elba in his place as Bloodshot, which is a different character, so that maybe in the future Will Smith can come back in another Suicide Squad movie.
What do you think of Bloodsport in this?
Bloodshot. Bloodsport is Oh no, is it Bloodsport? Oh, whoops, I said Bloodshot.
I said Bloodspot first, but then I said wait, it's Bloodsport.
Oh, I thought he was awesome. He was like, Idris Elba was able to just be him, and he didn't put on an American accent. He has Cockney accent, so I loved it a lot. And I think he brought more charisma than Will Smith in the 2016.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Will Smith was just playing Will Smith, and at this point, you know, it's just like, you know, it's fine. But like Idris Elba, he's just cool, and it verifies why. And you wonder why the hell he's not James Bond at this point, or some sort of spy character in like maybe Kingsman or something. Hint. But he was very good with, you know, I think he was good as the kind of the straight, not the straight man, but he had his moments of like, man, that's funny, and like he was a good leader for the team. Like, I know they were like, oh, Deadshot's the leader of the room, but he didn't feel like a leader. It just made Bloodsport feel like a leader for this ragtag group of criminals.
Oh, absolutely. I really dug his character a lot, and I like how he took the lead pretty much in this film. And, you know, there was no performance that really, like, stood out. No, I can't say that because there's more performances that stood out, but this is the performance from him that stood out to me the most in his career so far. And I could say this is an absolutely great character because, you know, we see him as, you know, whatchamacallit, the detective in the show that won him an award. What's the series? Not
Luther.
Luther, thank you. We've seen him as Luther, and I think, you know, this is taking him up his career a notch, and just shows him he can take on like huge blockbuster movies like this. Because wasn't he in whatchamacallit? The one with the giant robots to get Guillermo del Toro.
Pacific Rim.
Yes, wasn't he in that?
He was in the first one, because in the second one, John
Boyega
plays
takes
his
that
kid.
character.
Yeah. Or he plays his son.
Because like that was like the last major blockbuster I could think of he was in, and now he's like in this, and I think he's excellent, and I think he should be considered for more roles like this. And then we got John Cena as Peacemaker, who like,
I think I have to say
excellent.
this. Yeah, I want to say this now. John Cena absolutely redeemed himself as an actor in my eyes, because after I saw after I saw Fast 9, I was thinking, damn, I really can't. I don't know if I can defend you anymore because you're but this character, it was perfect for him because he just played. He was Captain America, but a dick, and it was perfect.
He had like a Full Metal Jacket vibe to it, and just played it up to his wrestling character.
And I loved it. It was awesome.
It was awesome, and I'm excited for the series that's going to come from it, because we know that from the series he is getting, you know, a Peacemaker series.
And it got renewed for season 2.
It did get renewed for season 2, and he's been in stuff over the years, you know, like, you know, Fred the movie. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's been in some, like, you know, movies, but like nothing that made him stand out to me, personally speaking, as an actor. Like, I thought he was just obnoxious in Blockers. Did you see that movie? The one with, you know, the prom night one where the girls
Wanna
supposed
lose
to
their
have
virginity.
sex, and the parents are out to stop them. So like, I
Yeah.
just thought that was the most
The only
cringiest
good-
movie ever.
The only good performance he had done up until this point was in Trainwreck with Bill Hader and Amy
Trainwreck?
Schumer. Yeah.
I
Or
really
not-
liked a
yeah,
lot. I love Trainwreck. You know,
I thought he was good at
Amy
that.
Schumer. Yeah, I just feel like this is the one that made him. This Suicide Squad movie made him a star.
Mhm.
And say, okay, yeah, he can take on all sorts of stuff. I know he was like in some other movies, you know, like Bumblebee and stuff like that, but I actually haven't seen Bumblebee though.
Oh, he was good in Bumblebee. He played the macho military man. I thought that
That's
fit.
what I
think-
remember in the
yeah.
trailer. He was that character.
Yeah, but this is the role. Like, okay, if you want to see John Cena acting, watch the Suicide Squad because that's
He's
probably,
really, really good in it. I was
Yes.
very surprised. I
He's
really
like-
was.
he's like Chris Evans, but if Chris Evans was a jackass in this movie,
Oh yeah, I would like to see them fight. Honestly,
that'd be
Just
cool.
come back for that and just see them who can outbro each other. That'd be great.
But can we talk about I'd say is the standout performance of the film would have to be from Daniela Melchior. I think that's her name.
Ratcatcher.
Yeah, she
Oh
played Rat-
yeah.
Everyone I saw loved her character, and originally in the alternate ending, it's not a spoiler because it didn't make the film. She was supposed to die, and James Gunn said she's just too sweet. I can't kill her off.
Yeah, she's essentially the heart of the film.
Yes, she
And-
has awesome interactions with Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Harley Quinn, and like she has
King
interactions.
Shark. I love her with King Shark.
Yeah,
Because
And-
to them, like, we'll talk about King Shark in a second, but she's excellent. Have never heard of her in general, but I was like, oh, who is she? And then, she was outstanding as a rat catcher, and her little rat, oh, God, what's his name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian, oh, God. It was really, really cute.
It's interesting. This movie was her first like English. She was more of a she's like a Portuguese actor. She does a lot of like she does like Portuguese stuff, but this was her first English film, like her debut, because she did the voice for Gwen Stacy in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, but that was a Portuguese dub. So this is her debut, her live action American debut.
She killed it, though.
Yes, she did.
I'm excited. I know DC is going to do something in the future, probably with, like, they're going to try to plan, I'm sure, something with her and Taika Waititi, at least doing some kind of, like, pre-movie
A
before,
prequel series.
some kind of prequel movie or something, because, Taika Waititi was also casted in this, and he plays her father, so...
Ratcatcher 1, yeah.
I'm excited for her future, and especially for her acting career, because she, like I said, a heart of the film. Oh my gosh, she almost made me cry a couple times because she's just excellent in this film.
Yeah, but here's another thing I love with this film is that you see the concept of the Suicide Squad is just taking some of the most well-known villains, like you get the Harley Quinn and King Shark, but you take some of the more obscure, kind of like ridiculous villains, and you put them in it, and then you can have them shine, and people will know more about that character. In the original one, I would say that would have been like, Captain Boomerang, Slipknot before he got off in the beginning of the movie. That would have been cool. El Diablo, maybe Killer Croc a little bit, but they didn't really have enough like villains that like were obscure to shine a light on. With this film, we get characters where like, man, I've never like went in like depth, and I never went in depth with you before. This
No,
movie.
and even like Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like Bloodsport, he's known, but he's not like well known because it's more like Deadshot and everything. You got freaking then Polka Dot Man, which is a joke villain, but it gave him layers in the film, which was awesome.
Oh, he was excellent. I love David Matskalkin. I can't even say this poor man's last name. Do you know how to say it? Because he's also in Ant-Man, actually.
Yeah, he's in a lot of things.
So, and did you see he adopted Polka Dot Cat?
Oh yeah, that was
really, really cute.
Yeah, the actor of Polka Dot Man, he adopted a cat when they were filming in Panama that was abandoned, and the internet was loving it. But he was awesome as Polka Dot Man. And it's funny because James Gunn said he was going to put another obscure villain in there. You ever heard of Condiment King?
I've heard of that.
He's just a dude who attach me with condiments. And he was originally going to be in this movie, but I think James Gunn said, "I'll just put Polka Dot Man." But it was good. Polka Dot Man was funny. He was funny.
Yeah, just everyone has their own different elements that they bring to the film, and everyone is just equally as funny and really brings a lot of humor to it.
Yeah, everyone has their time to shine. Like this is very comparable to Guardians of the Galaxy because, in those movies, everyone in the cast has their moment to shine no matter what. And I'd say everyone in this movie has their moment to shine with something cool and everything, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. But do you know what I'm going to need in the near future? A King Shark plushie.
Aww. Did you like Sylvester Stallone as King Shark?
King Shark so much. Oh my god, I loved him because he's got like this like muscular body that I think is so funny that he looks like part man.
Yeah.
Like buff, like John Cena. Like I wonder if they just took John Cena's body and just he walked around with big buff, but in shark form. He's got these little eyes and this huge mouth, but he's just got like the mindset of Baby Yoda.
Nom.
And Baby Groot.
It was adorable. I think I love Sylvester Stallone.
A little bit of like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Mm-hmm. And all these elements that remind me of like my favorite, animal like characters or unique alien characters. And it's like with the voice of Stallone and his, voice, it's so good. And it's so funny, and I just thought it was so great, and the comedic timing of Stallone is so great in it. There's really good comedic timing in it, especially like as soon as we get introduced to King Shark in the film. I hate to say this, but we get introduced to King Shark, and he's reading a book, and it's upside down. And I just thought it was so cute and funny, and he goes, "I'm smart."
The scene is like, "Oh, look at this dumbass knows how to read."
Yeah, it's so funny. Oh gosh, the little things that King Shark did were great. And then, what do you think about Joel Kinnaman coming back?
He was so much better. He was so much better in this movie.
He redeemed himself in this.
Yes, that's what a lot of people were saying that, like, man, I like Colonel Rick Flag in this one more than the original because you just seemed like the military guy who had a relationship with the villain in the movie.
Yeah, Enchantress. I was not expecting him to come back at all. Like, you see his character had truly changed from the first film. Like, it's like he forgot about Enchantress, and it was like this group of the Suicide Squad, is my life now,
Yeah.
And it's that, like he forgot everything that was in that film. So
it was good. Now, one other thing we need to talk about, because this has been a very controversial topic, and that would be the villain. And it's not a spoiler because it was in the trailer. What did you think of Starro? Because there's one side that think it was a dumb villain, and the other side thinking that it was cool. I'm on the side thinking it was cool because I know the character of Starro, thanks to Batman Brave and the Bold. Shout out to that show. And what side are you on? Do you think the villain Starro was dumb, or do you think it was fun?
I thought it was fun. I just think the aspect of Peter Capaldi really brought the element to it.
Oh, as the thinker?
Yeah, I think that really helped the element to that. So I think of that more as the villain. So I didn't think it was bad, though. He wasn't too bad.
I liked it because the Starro villain is very interesting because I knew about him from Batman Brave and the Bold because one of the season finale was Starro taking over the world and Batman and a bunch of like heroes have to try to stop him because I think the whole mind control aspect is interesting, but I did think it was like, oh man, I wish they didn't spoil that in the trailer because that would have made it even cooler. Like, oh my gosh, it's Starro. But I figured with Starfish it was kind of a spoiler even. But it would have been cool for those.
It's kind of terrifying when I saw it. I'm just like, whoo, like wow. I was like, that's one giant starfish I don't want to mess with. I imagine him like at this point. Imagine like a giant Patrick Star.
But like wants to kill you.
Yeah, it's got this huge eye too. That's like really scary. And it blinks and it just like seems gross to me. And I'm surprised it was able to talk.
That
and
was
have a
funny.
brain, and I was just like, and have the ability to control these people. That was just like really, really scary to me. I was just like, oh, this is not good. And like, and for Peter Capaldi's character to construct it, it was just really, really fascinating to me.
I think Star Wars is a very fascinating field. Like, how is it that DC has brought in like a conqueror villain before Marvel can get Galactus in the damn movies? How is that possible?
I don't know, honestly.
But one last thing we'll talk about with this film, and that's kind of we'll give like our ratings and like, what do you think the future of DC is after this? Because this was obviously this is clearly the highest reviewed DC movie of the whole like DCEU era, and the era's been going on for like 8 years. And do you think that they are going to move in this direction with like James Gunn's vision, laying the groundwork with the Suicide Squad? Because there's so many possibilities. You got the Peacekeeper series, then he's coming back for another sequel. I think he said.
I'm sure they're gonna think of something with King Shark in the future.
Yeah, but do you think
there's
that
all sorts of plans for this, and I think James Gunn is going to be attached to the DC more because we know his time with Marvel is ending.
Yeah,
he's gonna
Guardians of the Galaxy 3's last one
will be with his last film. He's also got the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I know he's putting some form together with that, but once his time is up, I think he's had, I know he has, terms with Marvel. I think he understands, the soft side to Marvel, but now he's going to see the potential and the ideas he would love to explore in DC.
Because Warner Bros. Will let him
I'm
do
excited for it, and this could help me make myself more of a DC fan even more now than ever.
Because the Warner Bros. Can actually let him do what he wants to do with Marvel.
Yeah, as long as
I've heard a lot of directors who've worked with Marvel saying that Marvel is very restrictive with some things. That's why it's taking us forever to get that rated R movie for that's Deadpool movie, but we don't even know.
And now that they're saying they let Chloe Zhao direct whatever she wants with the Eternals, that's going to be up in the air. I'm excited for that Eternals. I'm kind of excited for that Eternals movie now after I saw that trailer, the new one that just came out. But I know Kevin Feige likes to put his 2 cents involved, and but this is going to be interesting. I think there is very high hopes because we also have the Batman movie.
Yes, next year, March.
So it's all depends on how that does and the direction I think they want to go in. I mean, who knows? They could probably go in both directions and make
think about the Flash movie. If they want to do the Flashpoint paradox, they want to make the multiverse and have all these movies merge into one. Because that's what everyone's thinking about how Loki ended. I didn't watch Loki, but I know something with like the whole multiverse, how everything can be canon now.
Maybe pretty much. And that's how the What If series now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking maybe they might do, because this is obviously a good groundwork to get a new era of DC going. And you don't want to leave behind the old era, because some of the old stuff has, Man of Steel's fine, Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition's fine. You obviously want to forget the 2017 Justice League and bring in the Zack Snyder Justice League. Wonder Woman was good. Shazam's good. So I'm thinking maybe if DC wants to go in this new direction, they can keep this and they can do all these movies. And then when you get to the Flash movie, since you're already having Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Michael Keaton come back and Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, you can possibly set up an opportunity to like make everything canon and make it all connected if it's done right. I'm still holding my breath because DC's track record is that they'll make a good movie and then they go right back to making a bad movie, because they did Wonder Woman then Justice League. But 2018 was the good year because they made Shazam and Aquaman, but then Birds of Prey came out, then Wonder Woman 1984, and now they're back. So I'm scared with the next movie if it's going to be bad or good. That's like, because the next DC movie is the Batman in March, right?
Yeah, I'm still major high hopes for that, because who's involved at this point? And I have high hopes for it, and I think that it's all going to be determined because of that film. So who knows? I think at this point, it could even be a James Gunn universe at this point, or it could be a Matt Reeves universe. Imagine the two of them coming together and coming up with the ideas for the potential of the DCU universe.
That would be awesome.
I mean, that would be great. I'm excited to see what could come from all this. I think James Gunn really saved DC with this film because they could have been tarnished again.
Yeah,
if
it could have been
somebody like another David Ayer, or they just bring on somebody like Garth Edwards, or whatchamacallit? I can't think of the name, but they could have really saved this film, and not save this film, but made a disaster if they brought in like a David Ayer, and they didn't. They brought in somebody who could make a fun movie, and that's what everybody was looking for, because superheroes are fun movies. They're not always taken seriously.
Yeah.
And that's what we go into them enjoying them for. And as much as I love the story, this is just what I go to the movies for, and why I want to watch, said movie. It's because of how the direction and the story it took, because this is essentially a James Gunn movie, and all of his. Now thinking about it, when I was sitting there watching it with my friends and my boyfriend, I'm sitting there like, this is like James Gunn to be introduced to somebody who does not know James Gunn to begin with.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't seen like Slither or Super, then you know it, or the Murder House Party or Murder Party, what he directed. It was like one of his early films.
Yeah.
So it's like all that in one.
But yeah, what would you give the Suicide Squad 2021 before we wrap it up?
I'm actually going really, really high with it. I'm actually going between an A and an A- because I loved it. I think it's one of the better superhero films I've seen in a very, 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 very long time. At least since the pandemic.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
The one thing I will say, I didn't get to publish my review yet, but Mac did. You thought it was you thought some of it was kind of predictable.
Yeah, because I know I saw this in another review and I kind of agreed with it. Once you've seen one James Gunn film, as like, Super, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, or, all those, and even with when he wrote the script for Belko Experiment, which was directed by Wolf Creek director, I forgot his name, but once you've seen one of his movies, you kind of expect what would happen, and you're like, okay, so this will probably happen. So it's like boom, boom, boom. So
that's Greg McLean.
Greg McLean. Yeah. But it was written by Gunn, and then he wrote Brightburn too, and produced it. So it's like once you see one of his movies, you kind of get into that realm of like, okay, now I know it, and it was a little disappointing at times. I was like, okay, but it kept me on my toes, but I was very tentative for some of the plot points. So,
I didn't think it was that predictable, especially for, I saw it, like, I know what to go in expecting for a James Gunn film. However, I didn't think it was that predictable for a DC film. That's the thing I just thought of it as.
It's not predictable as a DC film, but it's predictable as a James Gunn film. Because DC hasn't done
I thought he directed some kind of murder house movie, but he didn't. So I take that back. So I'm just looking back on his filmography now as we're sitting here. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, it was predictable for a James Gunn movie, but very unpredictable for a DC movie, because DC has not done anything to this point of just letting a director be who they want to be.
And I actually see what you're saying now too, a little bit, as what characters die and what happens in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Especially, it reminds me of what happened with Michael Rooker's character in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And Belko Experiment.
But it's really surprised me, though. But, now you saying that now for a James Gunn movie, it was seen predictable. Mm-hmm. But for an average audience who hasn't seen a lot of James Gunn's works like the Belko Experiment, though, I don't know a lot of people who have seen it. My sister, I know you have. My sister and I went to go see it together when it came out. I haven't shown the movie to anybody else. And
if I were to show a James Gunn movie to someone, it would be Rainn Wilson in Super.
What would it be?
Super with Rainn Wilson.
Oh, I thought you said something about Rainbow.
No, Super.
I like Super. That was actually one of the movies that, as soon as I saw Guardians, I went to go watch Super, and I really liked Super a lot, and I understood why they took on James Gunn.
Yeah, so definitely check out The Suicide Squad. It's on HBO Max until September 5th because of the whole 30-day period that they release the movies. And it's going to be in theaters for a little bit longer, so highly recommend you watch it. If you don't want to go to the theaters yet because you don't feel safe, stay home and watch on HBO Max. So if you want to go out and church, the great movie theaters, go watch it because this movie needs to be
it's worth seeing in IMAX if you decide to make it. Go watch it in IMAX. It makes it a really cool theater going experience because seeing that Starro in the giant form that is Starro, oh my gosh, the eye scene towards the end, I was just like, oh my god.
That's the HD quality.
Like I felt like my body cringe. I was like, oh no, I don't like this. No.
All right, so if that's the case, let's move on to the M&K upfront. Okay, so for something different this week, because we have just got back from long hiatus and everything, so we're gonna give you the M&K upfront, as we call it, kind of like what we're planning on doing for the next couple episodes when this comes out. So, Kristen, would you like to take it away?
Sure. As you guys know, this is currently for us who are listening. This is currently you're listening to episode 53. Mac and I have been going at it for quite a while now. It's been quite impressive for, I guess, the both of us. We've been, working on all sorts of stuff for the last year or so with this podcast. And now with the direction, we're still going to keep moving forward and keep bringing you consistent content. We're going to bring sorts of ideas, plenty of new guests. I have been able to contact and with so many incredible people who, you guys may not know or aren't following on, that might be like on YouTube or Instagram, and giving them a light to shine on, whether that they want to talk about a certain movie or we have an idea for a topic that we would like to talk about. So we're going to give you an update on what's to come. So next week, we are going to be discussing the conclusion of the Kissing Booth 3. How do you feel about talking about the Kissing Booth, Mac?
Hell yeah!
That's our movie, Mac. As I do imaginary high five to you all the way from Jersey and sending it across the beautiful Massachusetts to you because, that's one of the movies we connected on how horribly it is. We're going to give you our thoughts next time whenever that episode comes out. Because we have to talk about it. Joey King's career, what is going on with it, and we're going to see how that movie concludes. I saw it, was not expecting much, got nothing out of it, but I'm excited to hear Mac's thoughts. And because we both haven't even published our reviews of that movie yet. So
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
Okay, don't go in. I will say it is better than the sequel, but that's not saying much though. I will say that. It felt like I was watching the first one. I will admit that. But then after that, we are going to be putting together a huge panel for a special episode of video game movies.
Yes, finally, the one I wanted to do.
Yes, Mac this episode has been in the talks for a while. I am sort of a video game gamer girl in some way. I know
You're
Mac
a novice.
is sure.
I know a lot more. Well, I should say that. I'm the gamer of the duo. Yes.
We are going to bring on some guests, some special guests, and we're going to talk about some video game movies. Maybe we'll talk about some favorites. Maybe we'll talk about some disappointments. Maybe we'll talk about some box office stuff over the years. It's all up in the air. We're going to just play it by ear, and we're going to bring on a good panel. Like I said, some guests, so please be on the lookout for that episode. I'm thinking that episode will probably come out towards the beginning of September.
Yep.
Then after that, we're going to be hitting September. It's time for fall movie season, baby. We got a lot of films coming out for the rest of the year, so we're going to be looking at movies from going on into probably the middle of September, going all the way till maybe December. Who knows, maybe we'll touch on December. I just thought fall towards the end of November, but we want to explore what other options are going to be out in theaters or could be streaming because of this Delta variant. We have a lot of hype for it this year because now all the movies that were set to come out last year are now coming out now, and some movies have been moved around, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode. So we're going to be discussing some movies that we're excited about. So expect a fall movie preview and potential guest with that episode. And then after that, it's going to be episode 57 with one of Mac's favorite directors.
Yes. Daniel Farrar is doing 2 movies. Christian Saul, American Boogeyman, Ted Bundy, and he's making one on Alison Woodrow, I think that's her name is.
Yes.
And that's going to be like hit list.
And heads up, I saw American Boogeyman already.
And it was a piece of crock.
Mag even just took the words out of my mouth already. And
she was the only one in the theater. That's all we're going to say.
Okay.
That's the
I knew this was a movie. I wanted to see this movie because, first of all, this movie had China Michael Murray in it and Holland Roden from it because I am a Teen Wolf fan. And Holland Roden is from the Teen Wolf series. She played Lydia, who was Allison's friend on the show. If you know Teen Wolf, shout out to you. You're like probably one of my best friends if you know what Teen Wolf is. But she was casted in this film, and I don't see her do much acting. So I was really, really excited to see her take on this film. And I thought, maybe I'll give this film a chance. Maybe it's not be as bad as Sharon Tate, or like what is it call it? What O.J. Simpson? What's her name? Nicole Brown.
Oh, Mina
Suvari. Yes. Peaceful as those films, but oh boy. And I will say, going into this film, I had technical issues going into this film. There was a huge chance the theater I went to go see this in did not want to show me this movie. Okay, so I will probably explain this again when we talk about it in the future, but I go in, I show up, around 7 o'clock, because it was a Phantom Events. It was a Phantom Events, one night showing of the movie. So I was like, okay, I'll go. Like I had enough, when you get your AMC points or a Fandango points and you can earn yourself a free ticket. So I thought, okay, I have enough points for a free ticket. Well, I'll go pay my dues and see the movie. So I go in, I get my ticket, and there's nobody in the theater, just me. And I thought, I look around, and I'm like, this is going to be an interesting night by myself. Nothing is happening in the theater. It is now 7:10. And if you ever experience a Phantom Events, they really don't show really any trailers. They just play the movie and maybe do like a little intro for the director, or somebody from Turner Classic Movies will introduce the movie, like a little clip of it. But nothing was happening. I was sitting in a pitch dark theater and I'm just like looking at my phone. I'm like, wow, this movie should be starting now. And I go out to the front area and I'm like, excuse me, the movie's not playing. It's like 7:10 now. And I said, it's a Phantom Events movie. What's going on? And he goes, oh, okay, I'll get somebody to on it. I'll send somebody up to the projector room. And then I go back, just chill out for a little bit. I'm like, oh, see something come up on the screen, and it's like the old Paramount screen. I'm like, no, this is supposed to be a Voltage film.
Oh God.
Like I was expecting to see the Voltage pictures because they picked up the rights or like distribution rights, whatever, for the film. And I'm like, uh-oh. They started playing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I'm yelling up to the projector room because I used to actually work in a theater for a little bit, not very long, but I worked in a theater going back all the way, to my very first college years. And I'm like yelling, wrong movie. And the guy's like, do you want a refund? I'm like, at this point it's 7:30, and I'm just like, I came all the way out here to see this movie. I'm not going home. I'm like, and I'm like being really nice and patient because I know how annoying it can be to work in a theater and DCPs and how annoying projectors can be and all that stuff. It gets a little annoying and tedious because sometimes technology does not work. And meanwhile, I forgot what song they were playing, but it was just got up to the point where Charlie was it was like the grandparents were in the bed with Charlie, and he was about to give his grandpa the ticket. That's how long the movie was playing for, because they were having trouble, and they kept saying to me, oh, give it 5 minutes, it'll change. Give it 5 minutes, it'll change. Nothing was changing. So after that, I just went back out and I was like, I just want to see this movie. I don't want to change it. I came all the way out here, and he was like, no, that's fine. So they were finally able to put it, and what actually starts the movie itself is a pre-movie.
Oh my gosh.
There's like a little preview, like a little documentary that goes along with the film, and we can discuss more about it when, because I don't know if this was made. I guess when it comes out, we'll have to talk about it because there was like a little pre-documentary that goes with the film, and it just appeared out of nowhere, and I'm just like, oh, it's playing, and then all of a sudden, just as they're doing this little documentary thing, I thought I was in the middle of the movie. It was so weird. Like, it just showed, like, I thought I was just watching random footage. Then all of a sudden, this lady comes up to me, and she goes, oh, here's a free ticket. So, meanwhile, I saw the movie for free and got a free movie out of it.
Wow, that sounds like, knowing that movie and the director sleaziness, that sounds like the only way to watch that movie.
Yeah, so it was a fun night.
That is funny. They played, how little, like, shits do you have to get to just be like, we're going to, oh, whoops, wrong movie, it's Charlie Chocolate Factory. This is not about a serial killer.
Yeah, and the guy's like, yeah, she's supposed to be watching Ted Bundy. I'm like, yep, Ted Bundy.
Maybe they were doing you a favor because they knew that movie was so terrible. They just like, please, no, we're sorry. You want a refund? Okay. But
I drove out like a half hour to see this movie. I'm not going back home now.
That is funny, man.
If they weren't really able to play it, I was going to go see Don't Breathe too because I've been wanting to see that. But no, I was just like, taking my time with them. But I know they were probably like, why is she the only one who wants to see this movie?
Yeah, like the hell. Like, you must have been a freak to them.
So, but it was a night, the movie itself is something else once we talk about it on episode 57. But that's all we got coming up for the M&K Productions podcast.
All right, and that's going to wrap up today's episode. And before we go, I would like to mention that we do have a Patreon page. It's going to get a complete overhaul soon, but for now, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do it with 3 different tiers we have. I don't know if I ever plugged this in the podcast. So
no, this is your first time.
Okay,
plug it, though.
Yeah, okay. So with the Patreon, what we have, if I can look it up real quick. The Patreon page, it's up. It's a link in the description because I put it down every time, to have it as like the page, like the link for like a Patreon. So if I can bring it up real quick.
I don't have it on my screen. I'm literally looking at each other's faces right now.
Oh, hold up a second. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, nope. Is it? Okay. Yep. All right, perfect. So our Patreons things we have 3 different tiers you can go to support just to help us out because we'd like to get that watermark off of our videos and be able to do some watch along. So maybe we can go on StreamYard and have a little bit more people,
Yeah, we would love to do more stuff with you all in the future. This is, like I said, we're going to be more consistent with the content. We're going to bring you guys lots of new stuff. And it's going to be exciting for us for what we have planned for the rest of the year. We want to give you guys brand new content for it and hope to bring in new followers and viewers for both of us on our end. And if you haven't already, go follow us on all of our Instagram and Twitter pages, and because we really want to be interacting with you all. So
yeah. So and supporting us on Patreon, really do a good job. So on Patreon, it's Mac Movie Reviews. Link will be in the description. We have 3 tiers. The first tier is the front row theater seats, which is $2 per month. The benefits you have is you get request films to review on Instagram and get a shout out, get mentioned at the end of the videos on YouTube, request topics to be covered on the podcast, fan requests, pod requests, and shout out on IG and YouTube. Next tier, we have middle row theater seats, $5 per month. You can request films and TV shows to review on both YouTube and Instagram, receive shout out at the end of videos and reviews, request podcast topics and submit questions, be the first to get early promo codes for the Teespring store, which is going to get a complete overhaul, by the way, when a sale is around the corner, and be the first to get Mac Movie Reviews updates before they get announced on Instagram and Twitter. And then the last tier we have is back of the theater seats, which is $10 per month. This is the granddaddy of all the tiers because we know that the back of the movie theater is the best. So you get everything from tier 1 and 2. You get a special thank you sticker, a chance to be a special guest on the Mac Movie Reviews podcast, enter a raffle for a digital movie code every 2 months, and be a special reviewer for a video review of a film of your choice.
There's a lot of good content up there.
Yes, we do. So links will be in the description, so you can become a Patreon for either just $2 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. You get all the access to everything we have. So that's Patreon and Mac Movie Reviews. That will be changing soon, and it will be linked in the description for everything. And there's a video I made a few months ago announcing that too. So check us out on Patreon for that.
Yeah.
And then our Teespring store is going to get a complete overhaul. We're going to make some new designs, especially with, though I don't want to profit off situation with Delta variant, but looking like more masks, so we can be having more masks up. We can maybe make some new T-shirts and everything. Maybe some iPhone cases. It's going to be a complete overhaul, so look on that. But for now, if you want, you can support us on Patreon, and link will be in the description, and we can get it started. We can interact with us even more, maybe be on the podcast.
Yes, of course. But for now, that's going to do it for us.
Yes, so I have been Mac. This has been Christian. You've been listening to the M&K Productions Podcast, and we will see you all next time. Peace.
Bye.
Fuck you in the lane you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit in fifth. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.